Welcome to Life Mastery Radio with Todd Allen and Jackie Bailey, the show that dives into the science of higher consciousness with inspiring topics such as abundance, intention, health, manifestation, love, and transformation. Join Todd, Jackie, and their guests of leading authors, speakers, coaches, and entrepreneurs weekly at 10 a.m. Pacific. Learn to live a peaceful life with intentional mastery. It's all right here with stories and messages to support your well-being and most evocative dreams. Now, here's your hosts, Todd and Jackie.
Hey, it's another groovy day, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, it's Life Mastery Radio Day. Yay! My most favorite day of the week. I get to hang out with some really cool people with some great thoughts and ideas for you to use on your very own life mastery journey. And it is another reason for it to be a groovy day is because I make it that way. When I get up in the morning, I decide it's going to be a groovy day before my feet hit the ground, and you wouldn't believe it, but the day usually ends up being groovy. It's already pre-planned. Something might happen, something might come up, and all I have to do is think back. I started out feeling groovy and being groovy, and it's a groovy day, and I can change it or redirect things. Right, Jackie? That's
what you say. That's what you say.
As always, I have my guest with my co-host with me today. Oh my gosh, I'm getting myself all confused. Hi, Jackie, my co-host. How are you today?
Hello. Hey, spring has sprung. It's a beautiful day. So
yeah. That's what my problem is. Things are changing. Just kidding. How are things at the Speak Feed Lead project?
We are zooming quite along, just preparing for some in-person summer camps. For the first time, I'm going to have kids here at the studio. Yay!
Oh, wow. Really? That's cool. It's like 2 years, right?
It's been 2 years. And actually, I'm running into some of my students. I ran into one of my students at the store the other day, at the grocery store. And it was just like, hey, you do exist other than just being on a screen. You know?
The world of Zoom.
That's right.
So they're coming back to the schoolhouse. You got it all ready to go. And that's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, we've got lots of preparations to do before July, but it's just nice to know that we're going to have kids here once again. And we're just right across the street from a park, so we can have lots of activities and looking for volunteers, people that can come and help, wrangle these kids and cats and whatever else might be there. But it's going to be fun.
So what are some of the in-person subjects that are coming up? Of course, you teach young people how to find their voice and speak their voice and public speaking skills, but what was some of the beginning?
By the end of the first camp, it's going to be speech champ in a week. So you will learn how to create a competition speech, and we will have a competition at the end of that week. And several students probably will walk away with some trophies. The second week, it will be a keynote in a week. So the kids will learn how to craft their life's keynote. And I think everybody has a keynote that should be ready to give at any moment, right? And so they will learn, figure out how to craft their keynote speech. And then they're going to be on our summit in the fall and give their keynote speech on our summit. That will be the second week. The third week will be a TED Talk focus. So at the end of that week, you'll come away with your TED Talk already. Cool. And then ways to apply for that to the various youth organizations that host those TED Talk events for kids.
And these kids are how old? Wait,
they're going to be 11 through 14. Yeah. And then the fourth week, they'll be writing a chapter of their book. And then we'll be putting together this compilation book and publishing that out there for them. And so they're in 4 weeks, they're going to be a champion. They're going to be a keynote speaker. They're going to be a TED Talk speaker. They're going to be a book author in 4 weeks this summer.
This is the way, Jackie, that you create leaders. You realize that you do know this. This is absolutely the way. I mean, it's amazing. Jackie and I had the opportunity to judge some speech contests and watching these young adults speak their piece, speak their mind, speak their thoughts and ideas, articulate them to an audience. Oh my gosh. It's just like, There's the next president of the United States right there.
They got something to say. It's just that sometimes we aren't listening.
Yeah.
And
very cool.
and when they recognize that their message is worth being heard and they've got an audience to do it, they come up with some just amazing things.
And so is this hybrid? You're going to have them in your classroom. Do you also have kids online too?
We do not have the money to fund a hybrid situation. That's a lot of technology, and unless something miraculous happens, but we're just going to do it
somewhere.
It'll just be in person this year. Most of my students have been craving to get back together. And so, in fact, I don't know that I'd want a child in online something all day, 5 days a week during the summer. I think that's a little counterproductive to what we're trying to do anyway. But if they're here with us and learning those things,
it has to all start somewhere. And I think, oh man, that is so cool. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about this. This is like cool. I do want to remind our listeners that today's show page is at www.lifemasteryradio.net or .com, and you can find a link there to Jackie's website, speakfeedlead.org, and check it out for yourself. You might have a kid, or she's got other programs coming up too. So click through and find something that's just for you and your kid. While you're on the website checking out the show page, you can sign up for our newsletter. Our newsletter, Jackie creates a newsletter once a week. It highlights who's been on the show, who's coming on the show, and a blog post about the show with links to our YouTube, iHeartRadio. Oh my gosh, it's full of information, and that's all that we use that email address for, is to get you all things Life Mastery Radio. It's pretty cool. And while you're there, you can check out my book. There's a link to my book. There it is, 6 Keys to Life Mastery. Look, I have it the right way today.
Yeah.
You'll love
That's
that
always
book.
important.
Jackie's book is there too.
Yeah, self-centered leadership.
She's all about
influential,
leadership.
intentional, and exceptional.
Yeah. Both links are there to Amazon. You can read the book and love it and leave us some feedback. Let's see. Check out the books. Sign up for the newsletter. What else am I missing, Jackie? Anything?
Listen for our guest today. It's going to be an awesome show.
Check out our YouTube channel. Okay. Are you ready for the show?
I am ready. Yes.
This is your guest. So that means you have
I met Bernardo on the high seas. Literally, we were on a cruise, a marketer's cruise in November, and we connected there. And so I'm delighted to have him on the show with us. He was supposed to be here earlier in the year, but he had some electricity issues. Yes. And so we're so glad he could make it. So his name is Bernardo Moya, and he has an unwavering belief in social, personal, professional, and global responsibility for helping others through his books and platforms. Bernardo is the founder of the Best You brand in 2016 and the architect behind the Best You Expo, which we'll talk a little bit about today. The Best You is in the business of helping people achieve their dreams, and they provide customers with skills, tools, knowledge, wisdom, and experts to enhance and improve their lives. The best people discover their true purpose, or they help people discover their true purpose. Sorry about that. He is the executive producer and president of the Best You TV network and the author of the best-selling book, The Question, Find Your True Purpose. His book brings together the best of what is thought and known from the world of self-help. The author, Bernardo, shows readers what can build a path toward greater well-being and believes that the quality of your life depends on the quality of the questions you ask yourself. So, you know how most of us have been searching for life's answers? Bernardo says we should be asking the right questions. So welcome to Bernardo Moya. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you and thank you, Todd.
So you are down south of us today, right?
South America.
Yes. Last time, as you said, I was in Argentina, and it was high season there. And in high season, obviously gets very hot in Buenos Aires, and everyone's got the air conditioning on, and sometimes you just get these power cuts for like 3 hours, And I remember that day, I think we had a whole day of power cuts. It was terrible. So I apologize for that. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
So Bernardo, you're in media, you've been in media, you're all about media, you do many things. It's not just media. But and as we were opening up the show, I was thinking, I gotta get his thoughts about. So what are your thoughts about the idea of giving young adults and empowering them with finding their message, understanding their purpose and what they're all about? And then and then showing them how to do a TED talk and speaking from the stage and just letting it all hang out. What do you think about all that? Is that amazing or what?
It's absolutely amazing. And yeah, when I met Jackie and she was telling me, well, she was sharing with the group the work that she did, I was instantly connected because it's something that I've always been very passionate about. And yes, I mean, kind of, I think we all know and we all agree that they're still teaching the same curriculum they were teaching in the 1800s. They still don't get it, kind of the world. I mean, how much has the world changed in the last couple of years? And we're still teaching the same things. So, kind of, hey, getting to learn how to speak is kind of important, isn't it? So, so yeah, and kind of, so the skills that Jackie's providing is phenomenal, so needed. And I think the confidence that these kids have at that age when they're able to do a pitch, a presentation, a TED talk, it just opens so many opportunities for them, inside their mind, but also in the reality of the world. So no, I'm in awe with her work. And so needed. I point out that in our expos, which we used to have many rooms, breakout rooms, we had 9 breakout rooms. The empowering women
without Zoom, right? That was without Zoom.
That was before Zoom. When we used to get together, give each other hands and all that. So
we had
the inspiration zone, empowering women, passion to profit, and one of the rooms I had was the best youth. And it was just a room with teenagers and kids that would come up and do these amazing, inspiring talks, and it was just beautiful and delightful. So no, it's so needed, and so many skills that are out there are needed to be taught now. So well done, Jackie, with that great work you do.
Oh, well, thank you. I didn't expect all that praise this morning. So
I thought I'd open that door. I was just thinking about that in the beginning of the show. It's like, this guy's in media and just getting his thoughts, because it is empowering.
I think any parent out there, get your kids out, get them, take them off that computer and send them to this course, because it's going to be life-changing forever. I mean, it's everybody.
Well, that's what parents have come to me and said, how do you get my kid to stop grunting at me when he answers my questions? How do I get him to actually use words? And
it might backfire afterwards when they come and give them an amazing presentation and talk, and all of a sudden the parents are getting their credit cards out. So,
that's right.
Well, that might be an area we move into, because you're all about that these days. And isn't that, well, we can boil it all down to one word: love.
Yeah. Well, I think, we were talking before that love is the missing subject in the world nowadays. We're so focused on what makes us different and not what brings us together. And I believe that in the personal, professional growth world industry, we all, any coach, any expert, any teacher, any mentor, anyone that's out there has to make sure that, whoever they're working with, they're bringing the word love and they're bringing, acts of kindness, or elevating consciousness, which is also about being aware of what's happening in the world, which also represents love. So, it's something that's so needed. Consciousness means becoming aware of your surroundings. The opposite is being ignorant. So, a lot of people choose to be ignorant. Oh, yes, people are being enslaved. Let's just ignore that. Oh, there's global warming. Just ignore that. So kind of that's the thing. And that's, so consciousness and elevating consciousness, which is all around love, really, is about becoming aware. And that's why I think, and that's kind of my thing, as you well know, is bringing love at the forefront. Anything that can do that is great and very needed.
Now, have you always had that focus, though? Because as I hear your story, you've had some pretty big challenges in your life, and you learned a little bit about NLP at some point. So do you want to give us a little bit of background on onto how you reached the path that you're now on?
I don't think I think I've been very blessed in my life. Gratitude is something that I think as we get older, we become more grateful, don't we? Oh, I'm grateful for this and grateful. When you're young, you don't care about anything. But so gratitude has become more relevant and important to me as I've got older. But the reality becomes our mortality, or the mortality becomes our reality as we get older. So we start becoming aware, oh, you know what? I haven't got those many years left. And I don't think I've been that lucky. Well, look, my dad died when I was 15. So, I didn't really study a career that I wanted to do. So I became an entrepreneur quite young, lost my money, quite young at the age of 26 and again at 40. So, kind of reinvented myself many times. And I think if anything, as I've got older, and because I had that position of a global promoter. I mean, global promoter was I've done events around the world and I've promoted thousands of international speakers. So I've had that sense of responsibility of becoming a conduit for people to share their expertise and their knowledge. So I've also felt that I had a sense of responsibility to bringing conversations forward for us to be able to talk about things. And for me, even, with my book, I think one of the things that's missing many times in life is being congruent. So for me, being congruent has always been very important. I want to be congruent in the way that I act, in the way who I am and what I believe in. I can't preach or talk about, being healthy if I'm unhealthy. I can't be talking about, elevating consciousness if I don't care, or if I don't read, or if I don't learn, or if I don't change, if I don't reinvent myself. So I've always wanted to be, walk my talk, and I can't be the founder of the best you if I'm the crap me, so I've always been aware of that. But as I've got older and my mortality is becoming more of a reality, I've started to focus more on the important things. And that's been my journey these last 4 or 5 years. And I started to really focus on how I can become a better human being and how I can really leave a legacy. And if not, just leave loads of questions, out there for people to answer. As I believe that the quality of your life depends on the quality of the questions you ask yourself. Some people get up in the morning, they look at themselves in the mirror, not you, Todd, because you've got the right attitude, but some people look at themselves in the mirror and say, oh my God, how crap do I look today? So there you go. There's a question for you, because then unconsciously your mind is going to tell you 1,002 reasons why you do look crap today. On the other hand, you say, oh my God, how amazing is my day going to be today? And all of a sudden, it's a new, different reality. What can I do tomorrow? How can I change the world? All these are empowering questions. So I keep doing that. And but it's been challenging. My mom passed a couple of years ago, so I've lost a couple of friends, like a lot of us have. So I've been very blessed. I'm very grateful. I've been, that's the only challenges I've had in my life. So touch wood, I've been a very lucky and grateful man. But I feel I have this position where I have to do more, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Good. And the truth of it is that you want to be your best you, but you're constantly improving even that best version of you, right? I mean, because you're always looking for the better best and the better best, because if we stop learning, if we stop trying, then what's life for, right? So even though we feel gratitude for what we have, we're always looking to do more. And I think what your mission is not to just make the money, but it's to impact the lives of other people, right?
Yes, and also, and in the process to get those individuals to be part of that solution. I think we're not going to talk about where the world is right now, because it's pretty scary with a lot of the conversations that are out there.
It's in a place that it can grow, right?
Yeah, it can only go up from here.
Well, absolutely, and but if anything, it's an opportunity or a time for more people to come forward. The world needs more leaders. The world needs more thinkers. The world needs more people that care. The world needs more kinder people, and I think we all know that. So I got this from Jeff Hoffman from bookings.com, good friend who I've worked with quite a few times, and he says something that's great and simple: is there is no they. There is no they. We're they. So everyone's waiting for someone else to come, and there's always a time, and there's always a time and a moment where you just have to step forward, and that's what I think we all have. I think, and I know that we all have this inner resilience within us, that we're capable of doing the most amazing things, but we have to be pushed and cornered sometimes, or lose everything to kind of get in there and tap into that. And my question is, why wait?
Why wait?
Why not do it now?
Yeah, that is kind of a bizarre phenomenon that people don't seek change until they're desperate, right?
Well, people ideally would rather, not change and be the same because it's easy. Everyone wants a six-pack, but they want to do it on their sofa drinking beer. Hey, so do I. Although it is proven that you can build muscle by visualizing it. I'm a great follower of Dr. Joe Dispenza, but hey, to a degree.
Right.
The thing is that yes, people would rather do whatever they can apart from change, but I think it is that it's only when we're really cornered that we do make those decisions, and then all of a sudden we look back and we feel, it wasn't that difficult. It wasn't, although it was challenging at the time, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. How many times have we been in those places where we thought, best thing that ever happened to me? Change is reinvention. That's what change is. Change is also revolution. Everything that's happened in the world, the agricultural revolution, educational revolution, industrial revolution, it's all brought, yes, a lot of disruption, but it is created in your reality. What's happened in these last couple of years has fast forwarded our way of thinking and doing things in a very short period of time.
And awareness
isn't anymore. So all of a sudden now everyone thinks, why did I go to work 5 days a week when I could work from home? Why was I doing that for the last 25 years?
Isn't that the truth though? It is, it's a forced change that people begin to realize, wow, we could do this different, when there was just talk of it before, right? And then all of a sudden it become manifest, and now people realize we don't need a brick building to go to every day.
Yeah, so many wasted hours.
Yeah. Well, Bernardo, in your book, you do some comparisons to what our ancestors may have had to struggle with. What was their daily life like? And in comparing that with what we have, it should help us to feel a little bit more grateful. It should help us to be more aware of the really good life that we have. We have similar choices to make like they did, and that we've got to, somehow survive every day, but we've also got other choices that they were never given opportunity to face, so in a good way. How then, what are some of those questions that we start to ask ourselves to find that gratitude that we all really need to start with? I think gratitude and love go together, and they should probably be the foundation of everything else that we build a life on. So what are some of those questions that we can start asking ourselves to determine what it is that we have to be grateful for?
Yeah, well, I think it is down to a lot of those things, a lot of the things, it starts very, very simply with the things that we take for granted. Okay. So like, I'm lifting my two arms here, also, well, here you go. I've got two arms and two hands, and I'm seeing and looking at the camera. I have eyes, we have vision, No, I mean, you can read some of the facts. Right. There's millions of people that are vision impaired. There's millions of people that have no limbs. There's hundreds of millions of people that have no running water in their homes, that have no electric. There's 35-40 million people that are enslaved currently as we speak. Yeah. There's billions of people around the world that are imprisoned because of their religious thoughts, because their sexual orientation, because of where they live, where they were born, because of the color of their skin. So positivity starts from not being negative. Well, that's not very, but it is, kind of when you wake up in the morning, oh my God, 15 minutes in a traffic jam. Wake up, okay? You're in a car, it's air conditioned, and you've actually got a car, you're not being bombed at the moment, like a lot of the Ukrainians are, unfortunately. So, start, as I said, positivity starts from not complaining, not whinging. In English we call it whinging. Stop whinging. Anyone that's a complainer is a negative person, or they have negative thoughts. So kind of they need to become aware of what they're thinking. And again, it starts with, what are you grateful for? What do you take for granted? Your kids are healthy. They go to school. They have teeth. There's just so many things to be grateful for every single morning. whereby, you know, you have just you got a great starting point. You know, you're so ahead from many others. And ultimately, basically, and it sounds like a big number, but it is, you probably would get around 6 billion people. 6 billion would probably switch like that instantly to be where you are right now. Because, you know, there's billions of people around the planet that are worse than you. So by being grateful for what we have and building on that, and then trying to be part of the solution of making it more, you know, more equal for other people, and not accepting, you know, a lot of the stuff that's happening out there that's not fair. And that becomes, and that is part, it's all down to education, isn't it? You can either choose to become aware of some of the things that are happening out there and do something about it, or you can decide to be ignorant. And you could decide to be ignorant to the day you die, because it's easier for you. But at the end of the day, that's one of the things is, I think, is if we look at it, I think there was around, the estimate is 120 billion people. I don't know, I might have lost a couple of billions there. 120 billion since the beginning of, you know, kind of society as we know it now, and human race. And how many of those have actually gone and really made a difference? There's probably hundreds of millions. But, you know, could there be more people that could have done more to make the world a better place? Because a lot of minds have got together now in these last couple of years to solve problems that we thought were, you know, unsolvable. And you know, kind of, we couldn't go to the moon. And, you know, there's just so many things that we've done in this very short period of time, 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
So what can we do to all of us to become better individuals, complain less, be grateful for what our parents, grandparents and did, you know, kind of like, you know, they had an orange for Christmas, or, you know, they were lucky if they ate meat once a month, you know, kind of, you know, they didn't throw food because they didn't have any food. So it's just, the list goes on and on and on for things that we could be grateful for.
You know, that makes me think about, what is it in our society that keeps people throttled, right? What is it? Because isn't that an inherent part of ourselves, is to make ourselves better, to climb that other hill? But yet most people find themselves sitting on top of that hill they just climbed, thinking, I'm good here.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of, again, the empowering questions. The conqueror, the explorer, the adventurer, you know, the inventor, all these people had a question. I wonder how I could climb that mountain higher, or how could I get there quicker? How could I fly? Other people chose to, you know what, I'm quite happy here. I don't want to go anywhere. But thanks to those people that did ask themselves those empowering questions, we have all those amazing, you know, solutions and realities that we have now. So look, I get it. I don't think anyone and everyone can go and, you know, invent penicillin or you know, kind of, you know, space travel and things like that. But that's fine. But everyone can do something for someone else at some point in their life, even if it's one person, because that ripple effect could be phenomenal. You don't know who you've helped and the impact that they could have in the world. So there's always something that we can all do.
Yeah, that's very true. And I think that if we walked around with the mindset of, I wonder who I can help today, as opposed to, I wonder how I'm going to get through this day. I mean, I think just that shift of the way that we think could make a huge difference, right? And so it's really about changing our mind so that we change our perspective, and then we change the outcome of what's happening, right? Is it that simple? Can it be that simple?
Well, it can be, you know, and I think that's the whole thing, which, you know, I'm working or writing about more around love and around these acts of kindness is sometimes it is as simple as that. You know, it could be, you know, we came up with a campaign, which was because we thought, okay, we're going to do something. How could we get people to do something? Well, 10%, could you become 10% more kinder? Oh, 10%, what's that about? Well, 10%. Could you, whatever you do on a daily basis, could you increase it by 10%? So if you ring someone, you know, you spend 10%, well, could you spend 10% of your day calling, sending messages, giving compliments? You see, it's very simple as a compliment. You could go and buy your bread and say, oh my God, you look amazing today. I love your hair. There you go.
That's empowering.
That person's life is, you know, it's had an impact. They might go home and feel so much, but oh my God, I do look great today. You know, so it's all these things that we can all do that can have an impact. And yes, it can be that simple.
And that's simple.
Sometimes it is 10%. I'm spending 10% on buying cakes. So I'm spending X amount of money on cakes. I'm going to put 10% of that away and give it towards a charity or cause, you know? So there's so much that we can do that can have an impact. Either we choose not to, or we choose to.
Yeah, it is all about choice, right? I mean, I and awareness. It boggles my mind sometimes when I think about Bernardo, is just the choices that people choose, and the reasoning behind that choice that they make, because I guess it's self-centeredness. Is that right? Am I going down the right trail?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think life gets in the way, doesn't it? And then our ego gets in the way as well. So we've got all these things that we have to deal with that unfortunately potentially makes us lose focus. But yes, I mean, I think it is.
It's all about me.
Yeah, it's all about me. But look, I'm a great. Meditation is a really important part of my life every day.
Yeah.
It centers me, and so kind of when I need time to. I truly try to remove myself from myself to see, what am I doing as an individual, and I'm becoming better. And then, sometimes when you do have those thoughts that might be not so positive, we'll change it for loving ones, and send love instead of hatred, because you can send love. You can say, I'm thinking of someone in a bad way. Well, no, let me just send them love. And if you kind of think, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and through heart math, they believe that you kind of breathe love through, if you visualize that you're breathing through your heart and you breathe the love, you'll basically, your blood pressure, everything kind of lowers, and your energy changes, your focus changes, your aura changes, everything changes around that. But again, as you said, Todd, it's about becoming aware. We have to become aware of our thoughts. So many people, it's a basic essence of NLP, where people are aware of my thoughts. And a lot of people say, what thoughts is he talking about? I don't have any thoughts. What are you talking about? Well, those thoughts, that one that says
just
right
flow.
Now, that's the one, yeah.
You just brought up heart math. They're doing some amazing work in awareness, and oh my gosh, it blows me away what they're up to, what they're finding, and their reasoning behind everything. The heart actually is a brain. It has the cells that are in our brains as well as in the heart.
It's the first organ that starts working within the fetus long before the brain.
Yeah
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I've been following oh gosh, his name escapes me now, but he's really big into heart math, and along the same lines as you. Love is a huge healer and a huge solution to a lot of our problems if we just accept it and bring it into our awareness.
Yeah I in this process of kind of these last couple of years, it was quite funny because I was very driven to think about love. So I came up with the idea of the love event, and on my journey of Bernardo becoming a better version of himself, I started exploring how I could elevate my consciousness. And I've been reading a lot about the power of psychedelics, and there's a great book of Michael Polak.
I was just going to say, your love event is a lot different than the Burning Man project, right?
Well, yeah, it is. Look, a lot of people that are involved in that event, I respect. But there's a great book out there, which I highly recommend. It's Michael Polak, The Power of Psychedelics. He's a reporter, and he does such a great work on it. Really, really very well documented. But anyway, just before that, actually, I did my ayahuasca. I did an ayahuasca ceremony in Peru.
Oh, wow. That's big.
Yeah, I did that last year. And it was something, I had a calling to go to Peru for quite some time. And I did that. And I got to tell you, it was an absolute life changer, without a doubt. But I had already come up with the idea of the love of it. And if there was one word that I would bring out from that experience of my ayahuasca, was one word only: it was love. What I felt from it was love, tremendous love. And the fact that, kind of, hey, we're all matter. So I say we're all matter, nothing matters. Because at the end of the day, you know what? The birds, the trees, everything goes back into the soil. And then, hey, hopefully there's a soul, and we either, reincarnate ourselves or we become part of a bigger consciousness. But I want to believe that there's more to life than that. But if there was something that came from that, was love. So I think more and more it was the reality of exploring what does love mean to different people, to different cultures, and how could we become more loving, how we could forgive. I broke up with my wife. I was together for 30 years. How could we forgive? How could we move on? What does love mean? Because love means many different. I quote that love isn't what you think it is. And I mean by that, it isn't what you think it is because someone else thinks it's something completely different. So, you know, it means something very different to many different people, depending their gender, depending their sexuality, depending their age, religion, you know, all sorts of things. So, but that's where this whole idea of questioning and really digging deeper into love is. So, you know, I'm no expert, no coach, no therapist. I'm simply an entrepreneur that's been exploring personal professional growth, maybe at a deeper level from a promoter point of view. And now I'm exploring it as well personally as a coach and as a mentor.
Well, so tell us about the love event that you have. What is your vision for that? That's coming up in September, I believe. You're
correct. Yes, it's a live and virtual, and it's also going to be streamed on the Best You TV. It's called the Love Event. It's available. People can see it online. It's theloveevent.com. All the information there. And basically, it's going to be like 3 days with very engaging speakers, coaches, mentors, entrepreneurs who believe that we have to find ways for us to be able to connect, to become part of a solution. So it's basically called the Love Event, but it's real conversations around kindness, caring, and consciousness. So it's a combination of talks and panels, panels and talks, talks and panels, and all sorts of subjects, you know. And the Love Event isn't about love. It is about generically consciousness. It is about how could we become kinder, talking about a lot of people are doing some great work in, you know, in reforestation, in helping the, you know, the oceans, in obviously also charities and NGOs that might be helping, you know, people that are enslaved. So there's so many subjects that we're having there, apart obviously from relationships and
caring and empathy. I'm sure would come up. That's all part of it.
Absolutely. I want to keep it very engaging. So it's like 20 minutes, 25-minute talks, breaks, panels, and international speakers. So far, we've got some great people. We've got John DeMartini, Marissa Peer, Massa Jadi, you know, David Fagan. There's some great people already.
Greg Braden would be a good guy. That's who I was thinking about. That's who I've been following a little bit, and he turned me on to Heart Math, and it's just like, wow.
Yes. Greg Reed, did you say?
Greg Braden.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, cool. I'll connect. Yeah, we got some great people already.
So Bernardo, do you feel then that meditation has helped you become more centered in having this drive? And you mentioned Dr. Joe Dispenza as a favorite. Are there other people that you connect with in the meditative space that you could share with us?
I'm a late meditator. Okay, I should have done it many years ago, but kind of I think it's been part of my life maybe 5 years, 6 years, but you know, kind of tapping into it now I'm a daily meditator, and I have been at least for the last couple of years. I'm just getting better at it now, and I'm exploring all sorts of ways of really, you know, digging deeper. I'm doing Dr. Joe Dispenza's online course right now. I follow a lot of the work that he does because I think is absolutely phenomenal. And having done so much training work with so many great people, I really believe he's onto something, because, you know, I've done a lot of visualization. I've done a lot of hypnosis with NLP, but I really like exploring what he's doing, which is obviously, you know, a visualization and a meditation that takes you to that state and that reality of consciousness in the future, where you're living it. Not only you're living it, you're actually putting those emotions into it, and then you're bringing it to the now. You know, as what tends to happen is thoughts, obviously thoughts, you know, kind of 90%, as we all know, 90% of the thoughts we have are repeated thoughts, and, you know, thoughts that we keep on thinking about. So kind of like, you know, if you think about it, every single day we wake up, we're attached to all these kind of thoughts that are just coming back into today. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they're literally tying us, and so we're dragging them along along our future, because, and then, yeah, some of them, they you know, we lose them because they're just too old now.
Well, and they influence our
56 years old now. Okay, I'll let it go. But, you know, a lot of them, we keep on dragging them into the future.
They influence our choices, right? They influence our choices. That's those thoughts that we drag along and that keep repetitive. That's the way that works.
The first thing it does, it impacts your energy.
Yeah.
You see, because you're living in an emotional state of something that happened to you in the past. Because the body, you know, is used to that. I like how that sounds comfortable. Yeah, I hate that guy. I really hate it. You know, so kind of, yeah, I'm used to this. So your body wants more of that. But, you know, kind of when you learn to say, no, excuse me, not interested in that. I'm going to be thinking about this exciting future. I've got me living in Uruguay on the beach, or I'm going to have my car and my motorbike. And so I'm not interested in that. You can bring me there if you want. So, that's part of the meditation, and that Joe Dispenza does as well. So I love that. And so it's just really seeing this new reality. So now all of a sudden it's my future pulling me. So now I'm going the other way. So that's my future pulling me the other way. And that energy that I'm bringing is obviously positive, good energy, which is also good energy for the body. We all know negative people that walk into the room, all of a sudden the lights turn off and everyone goes like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Don't we? We all got those people. Well, my favorite hashtag is hashtag no negativity. Anyone that's been negative in my life have been deleted. I don't know who they are anymore. Not interested. In the back. Don't want to know.
It's like Jackie. Jackie just wrote a Dear John letter to Lack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's it. Kind of it's about surrounding yourself with positive people, positive thoughts, going towards the future, and that's how meditation. So I'm using meditation in that way to visualize good, positive things, but live in that state where I can come to it and live it as often as I can.
And inspiration, right? I mean, meditation, you're clearing your mind and you're opening it up to new thoughts and ideas, and you just never know what's going to pop in.
Yeah.
In a positive way.
Yeah, and look, a lot of people think that meditation, oh my God, I go quiet, I go zen, I don't have a thought for 25 minutes. No, of course not. And everyone else that does, you still have the, oh my God, I forgot to push the washing machine. No, I forgot to push the washing machine. And then you got to come back. Oh, I come back. Everyone has that. But it's just keep at it. And then again, you can meditate. You can meditate in the morning, but there's nothing stopping you doing it in the afternoon again for another 5 minutes.
Right.
Hey, why not?
Yeah. Right. So what would you say? You told us that you're relatively new to the thought of meditation, and you have experience with it. What would you say to that person that says, I just can't do it. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to do. And when I try to do it, it doesn't work.
Well, I would say to them, first of all, stop lying to yourself, and you're talking crap, as I would say, because when you're driving to work, and all of a sudden you've been thinking for the last 25 minutes about your ex, your wife, or someone that really annoyed you, and you didn't even know how you got there, guess what? You were meditating. We spend our days meditating. You can focus on what you want to focus on, so you can focus on that you don't meditate, or you can focus that you do meditate. But the fact is, don't lie to yourself. You are meditating. Everyone meditates. Everyone's been meditating all their life, but you just need to choose the moment that you meditate and what you meditate about. That's what you need to do. That's not mine. That when they say that you can't meditate, that's exactly the time that you need to meditate. So that's it.
I've asked many of our guests that same question, and that's probably the best answer I've ever gotten. So, kudos to you, Bernardo. That's a great answer. I'll remember that one.
Thank you.
What else are we missing? Oh, go ahead.
Ask, who needs to read your book, Bernardo? Who is your book written for? And the title of your book is The Question, Find Your True Purpose. So who needs to read it?
Thank you. Well, I'm speaking here author to author. It's a challenging thing to write a book, isn't it? Because kind of you put your heart and soul into it. You spend hours and hours, and you think, oh my God, J.K. Rowling, move out! I'm coming through. So kind of, hey, and but for me, which I wouldn't have minded. Okay, between you and I, no one's hearing. If J.K. Rowling would have moved that way, but I wrote the book for me. I wrote the book for me because it was therapy for me, because it was coaching for me, because it made me think clearer. It gave me an understanding of who I am as an individual, because it was only when I sat down and said, oh, you know what? I am actually very resilient. And yeah, because I hit rock bottom so many times and I keep coming back. And then, kind of, there's a lot of change happened in my life. So then, I started looking at, revolution. And yeah, I do that. And definitely reinvented myself a few times in my life. So, I started writing, but for me, it was more about the empowering questions. And what was happening is that as I was getting more and more into NLP, and I understood that out of all the NLP techniques, and there's thousands of NLP techniques, one would, as a coach and as a mentor and as an NLP therapist, you would always ask, kind of, what would that look like? So kind of, if all of a sudden you could, not be fearful or fly in a plane, what would that look like? And then all of a sudden you can see their eyes going up to the right. So they're now starting to visualize what it's going to look like. So you see that question all of a sudden put that person in a different place, in a different state. So for me, it has lots of questions, thousands of questions. But there was a part when I was asking questions, because a lot of the questions were for myself, but there's a lot of questions that I didn't dare to ask myself, because I was living in a relationship that I loved my wife very much, but I wasn't happy. I wanted to move on. I wanted to do something different. We were very different. We got together. I met her when I was 15. We got together when I was 19. And I knew the consequences of me kind of breaking up that relationship as far as what it would represent with my family, friends, and everything else, the price I would have to pay. But I was asking myself those questions. What would you have to pay? What's stopping you now? What would you do if no one could hold you back? And Bernardo couldn't publish the book because I wasn't being congruent with my own self, because I wasn't prepared to ask myself the questions, because I knew what the answers, but I wasn't prepared to ask myself the questions. So I had to wait a couple of years for me to then take action, do what I needed to do in order for me to grow, to move forward. And then I published a book. So the book really is a little bit about me, kind of my journey, but it's more about just simply trying to provide people with skills and questions that I hope, I know there's a number of questions in there that will empower them, that will hopefully trigger something in them that will take them somewhere that they never thought that they could go or be. And because I have worked with Richard Bandler and it has influenced me some way, I think there's some great techniques there. And I talk a lot about history, and I talk a lot about as you were pointing out, kind of our parents and grandparents and what they've gone through, and grateful and gratitude and stuff. So I think it's a book. I think it's a good book. I'm very proud of it. I think it did what it needed to do at the time, and yeah, I think it's for anyone that wants to ask themselves those questions and believe that it's still not too late. It's very sad. It's very sad, Jackie and Todd, to see people in their 30s or 40s or even 50s. I made the decision when I was 50. That think it's too late for them.
Yeah.
My dad died at the age of 54, and he was very young, in my opinion. So I always had that target of 54 years of age, and knowing that what else could have my dad done if he would have lived for longer. So I wanted to represent a lot of what my dad couldn't do, because unfortunately he died younger. So, and it's very sad to see people that are walking dead and are just continuing to live the same life because they don't want to ask themselves those questions, because they don't want to change. They don't want to, rock the boat. And if there's anything that's they're really going to regret, is having those regrettable questions they're going to ask themselves in the latter parts of their days, when they say, "Oh my God, why didn't I do this?" or "What else could I have done?" So
one of the regrets on our deathbed that are most popular that I've read from people that do hospice is, "If only I could have," or "Why didn't I?" Those kinds of things. It's amazing.
I actually quote that lady. I can't remember. She's an Australian nurse that actually worked and she went that and why didn't I follow the life that I wanted to live? What did I follow? Other people's wants and needs instead of mine. So yeah, there's a lot of questions out there that people don't ask themselves, and unfortunately will regret. But there's also a quote there. I interviewed this lady. She was an Olympian. No, she's actually she was a rower, and she crossed 5 oceans on her own. She's on the Guinness World of Records. She's a meter 50. I don't know what that is in feet. But she worked in the Stock City in London, and she was married, just very unhappy, 9 to 5 kind of job. And I don't know, she went and saw this rower once I think it was a male rower that also had a couple of Guinness World Records. She was a rower at uni, but she was nothing special. And she was on the tube, and she came up with this thing. I don't know if it was hers or not, which I use with a lot of my clients when I coach them. Is she said she wrote 2 eulogies. What will your eulogy be now if you continue to do exactly the same thing you're doing now?
Yeah.
What will people say about you? And what would be your eulogy if you didn't give, excuse my French, a shit? Okay, if you did not care anything about anything, and you just simply did exactly what you wanted to do, what would your eulogy be? And then she wrote that, and all of a sudden, she had this amazing emotional state. And literally, I think within weeks, she divorced her husband, sold her place, and become a rower. And there she was. So that's an amazing story.
Game changer. That's amazing. That's amazing. So the book, The Question, it's been out for a little while. Something Jackie and I always like to understand with our guests is there a testimonial from that book that stands out, that somebody, we talked a little bit about, you know, how empowering it can be to ask these questions, but does one stand out?
I don't know. I got some really lovely ones, to be honest. I got so many lovely ones. I did get some, you know, there's some haters out there, whatever, especially in Amazon. Doesn't matter. I love to read their books with love. Hey, with love.
Not everybody gets a good response. That's for sure.
But no, I got some lovely ones, and a lot of them was around that kind of, they felt that there was some very empowering questions that really triggered something in them, and that was enough for me.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Bernardo, that's why I enjoyed your book, is because so many of us are searching for the answers. So many of us are searching for change. We want to feel happier. We want to feel more fulfilled, which is one of those words that you talk about in your book, is fulfilled, right? But what you do, instead of give us, you know, regurgitate all this stuff that we could find anywhere, I think what your questions do is they, at least for me, made me realize the power is within me. I already know the answers, but until someone forces me to ask myself the question, then the answers stay hidden. And so that's what your book did for me. Nice. is that it really just made me realize I already know what I need to do, but I'm afraid. That's why I don't make those changes. And so asking different questions, or asking the same question in a different way, has been very powerful. So I appreciate that. So I would recommend everyone read your book, because it does give you a different perspective.
Thank you. Yeah, and it is the simplicity of that, really. And I'm simply, you know, putting some questions in front of you for you to be able to ask yourself. And because a lot of the times, we, as you said, first of all, we know the answer, but we don't even choose to ask the question, because, you know, hey, if I don't ask myself the question, I don't have to worry about the answer.
That's right.
I'm like, oh my God, the answer is going to be so scary. So, you know, kind of, I get it. I completely get it. But I'll tap into that very, very quickly. What I found out, and what I'm believing more in now as I get older as well, is I call it connecting the dots. The universe and us, we're really tapped in, and we have a much more knowledge, inner wisdom, and we're tapped into consciousness in a higher level than we believe we are. We all have intuition. We all don't know we know. Yeah. Some, oh my God, I should have turned right. I knew I should have turned right. You know, there's all these things, these messages. Or sometimes we get a question like, you know, what should I do? You know, you're thinking about something, well, suddenly these same messages and things come to you. You see, the universe doesn't have Gmail or WhatsApp. So, you know, they put words, adverts, a book, someone recommend. So what I've become really good at with time is connecting the dots. When something or someone comes to me several times for several people, I get it, I take attention, I read it, I follow it.
Pay attention. Yep.
Yeah, pay attention.
Oh my goodness, my friends, we are out of time. Bernardo, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. We talked about a lot of things, and it was very cool. And I think there's a lot more to talk about. So I hope that you would be open to coming back on the show, and we can share some more great thoughts and ideas.
Listen, I got to say, I can't believe how quickly it's gone. I thank you so much. I really love the interview. Some great questions, and hopefully I've made some sense in something I've said.
Yeah, we provided some thoughts and ideas. Yeah, that's the way. If we made a difference in one person's life today, we did our job. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be happy. That's well, thank you so much. And great work, both of you. Thank you so much. Oh yeah. Oh, it was our pleasure. And you are a great joy. And don't stop, mister, because I'm right behind you and I don't want to step on you. So I'm just getting started. I've got no hair, you have, but I'm just getting started. Okay. That's about all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please tell a friend about the show. Look at this cool show. It's cool guests and cool thoughts and ideas. And how could you not have a more groovy day than by listening to Life Mastery Radio? Lastly, please make it a great day, because it's all about choice. Bye-bye for now. Bye, everybody. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Life Mastery Radio. Join Todd Allen and Jackie Bailey and their guests of leading authors, speakers, coaches, and entrepreneurs weekly at 10 a.m. Pacific. Learn to live a peaceful life with intentional mastery through stories and messages to support your well-being and most evocative dreams. Visit their website, www.lifemasteryradio.com. Join their mailing list and be notified about upcoming guests. That's lifemasteryradio.com.